on the name. And we have Christina's ready. Okay, so my name change. Hello, everybody on TikTok. How are you guys? Hope you're doing well. All right, and then just add psychic medium to that at the end. Yay. All right. Hello, everyone on YouTube. Looks like we're getting moving. Hello, everyone on Facebook. Good to be back. And looks like we have a pretty good connection going here. Okay, Brittany, Shauna, welcome. All right, so we are going to let a few people tune in here, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with this week's service of Roots Revival Interfaith. This week we are talking about what stops us from thriving. And we are an interactive church, so we encourage you guys to post your questions, your comments, your feedback, your experiences, and we will be taking the questions and comments more toward the end of the service. And I do want you guys to post your prayer and healing requests. Christina and I pray over those throughout the week. All right, so we're going to give this a second, let some people tune in. I do want to announce that the Psychic Mediumship course for the winter session, the winter semester, has been announced. It's up on the website. If you want to get on the early bird waitlist to learn more about that, you can go to revivrivera@yahoo.com, and we will send out notifications for you. If you want to go ahead and register, you can also do that. All right. So you're going to go to psychicmediumshipcourse.com. It starts, I don't know when it starts. It starts I believe last week of January, something like that. Sorry, guys. All right. If you still want to jump into the current Psychic Mediumship course, it's not too late to do that. All right. We are evergreen, so you can do that at any time. And there are 2 different tiers to learning, so something to fit everyone's lifestyle. We also have Reverend Christina DelRey's tarot class, The Art of Tarot, trains you in both the traditional method of reading the cards and the intuitive method. What does that mean? Well, you're going to learn the tradition of how the Rider-Waite deck and other, tarot decks work, but you're also going to stay open to evolve beyond the tarot deck, beyond your psychic ability. So for those of you who are wanting to evolve more into mediumship, this is going to be the tarot class for you. You're never going to get stuck just using a tool like this. She helps you to tap in and channel and use more of your intuition than typical trainings out there. And it is phenomenal results. Okay. Highly recommended. So the Art of Tarot class with Christina DelRey, you can go onto the website, ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com, to get in on that class. It is at your own pace. And yes, you can get certified in tarot through the Ivy League Psychic Academy and start working our events. Now, her Christina DelRey's astrology basics class is also up. The big 3, learning about your sun, moon, and rising signs. It's really the basic foundation of everything you need to know in astrology going forward. So you start with this, and then you could take her other classes from there. She'll be releasing those as time goes on. And so you guys can check out this 3-hour training and get some in-depth, super accurate education on what is going on with the big 3. All right. That is also video downloads. You can do that at your own pace. All right. We have a few people tuned in here. All right. And I feel pretty confident that the audio and video is going well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. I'm Pastor Ivy Rivera, psychic medium, Taino Airwalk. This is Roots Revival Interfaith. I am here with Reverend Christina DelRey, our astrologer. Here at Roots Revival, we believe in the 3 truths in the universe. That is intuitive, intelligence, numerology, and astrology. If you pay attention to these three truths, you'll be able to identify the authentic path that you're meant to be on, stay within your life contract, do the healing work that is required in your life, hit all the prosperity points, and ultimately be able to go out there and actually help others and contribute to the world around you. So we encourage you to tune in with us. You can listen anywhere that you can download a podcast, or you can go here on YouTube at Ask IEV, up in the playlist under Roots, Revival, Interfaith, to check out older sermons. Okay, and tonight we are talking about what stops us from thriving. I want everybody to take a second right now, give this video a thumbs up. Please do subscribe. Donations are appreciated, and we're an interactive church. So we encourage you to post your questions, your comments, your feedback, your experiences. We're going to be taking your questions more toward the end of today's service. And at this time, you can start posting your prayer and healing requests as well. All right. Now, Christina, Reverend Christina, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks. All right. So we are going to open with you, and then I'm going to follow up right behind you.
Okay. So what stops us from thriving? There's so many. There's so many things. So I had to kind of narrow it down, because usually we are getting in our own way. It's usually it's usually us. So some of the things that for starters, not knowing your astrology, that would be number one. When you know your astrology, you are familiar with your life contract. Having a life contract reading with Pastor Ivy Rivera, those are essentially roadmaps to where you're going. And if you don't know your placements, life purpose, contract, you're going to be wasting a whole lot of time. And it's not clear for everybody. Some people have charts where they know exactly where they should be going. And then other people, it's not that clear. So that it becomes really important for you to know your Saturn placement, because that's where you're going to have big lessons in life. It's important for you to know your Jupiter. That's where you're going to have luck in life. So these are all things that you really need to know. And I really didn't know until I was older, and I thought, wow, this would have been such a good tool as a child to have, because then you would have already gotten that out of the way, kind of. Number two, one of the biggest ones I think is, low self-confidence, no self-love, and fear kind of all tie into each other. And Saturn in the chart is also where you will find a lot of your fears. So it's always good to know that. But this is not like a conceited kind of love. This is learning to, love yourself, trying to better yourself, better what you don't like, focusing on the good and, improving the bad. And with this, when people have low self-confidence, they are often not able to see themselves objectively. And when you can't see yourself objectively, you don't really know your strengths and weaknesses. You're focusing really on your weaknesses, but you really need that objective point of view to see yourself, to begin to work on yourself and to begin to go in the right direction of thriving. Because when we thrive, there seems to be like a flow going, and you have to kind of find that flow and go. And that doesn't mean that you're not challenging yourself, because you do have to challenge yourself, but you have to have the self-confidence to challenge yourself. Definitely number three, putting yourself in a box. So if you always think, I am, a horrible communicator. Okay, well, you just put yourself in a box and you limited yourself. So you can't just say, I am this, because you can improve upon certain things in your life. You can't just label yourself and then that's the end of the story. You have to really have an open mind. And one of the big things that I find, which helps me, or which has caused me to stop thriving, is ignoring problems. This is probably the biggest one for the human race. Um, so this is what I'm learning. I don't know why. Like, I even went to counseling for a little while years ago, and she told me this. And it's really not that I've always done it, but it's probably the best lesson that I came out of counseling with. And that was, don't ignore your problems, deal with them immediately. So don't, like, so for instance, like, think about thriving in a relationship. Like this week, my partner and I had an issue, and I was like, you know what? I learned the hard way. I'm going to put this out there right now. I have a problem. This is what it is. This is my trigger. Hello, and it needed to be settled right then and there. So that's what had to be done. And that needs to go across the board to all your problems. Problems at work, problems with, your relationships, problems with your parents, problems with whomever. You need to do what you can right then and there. And really, like, you feel so much more satisfied. You're when it's resolved immediately, you're like, oh, I didn't have to procrastinate that. You know what I mean? I definitely tend to procrastinate. So don't ignore your problems. Deal with your stuff immediately. Number 5, I think that recognizing signs from spirit. So we are not recognizing signs from spirit. And this is huge on holding us back from thriving, because the answers are there. We're not listening. So, like our, knowing when to make a move. I think that was a mini class, or, or maybe that was a church service. I can't remember, but
it is. It's in the mini class playlist here on YouTube at Ask Ivy. It's divine timing, when to make a move. Yep.
Right. Because opportunities come around and you think, oh, well, I'll do that next time. And there might not be a next time. So you can't, like, if the signs are there and the flow is going, and you have to be able to follow that flow. For instance, Jupiter only hits your midheaven, your career line, once every 12 years. So there's opportunities that come once every 12 years that, you won't see again for 12 years. So if you want to do that, you better do it. You better take advantage of it. And, spirits, Jupiter, especially, everything, but Jupiter will send signs of blessings, and you really have to know, when to make that move. But, when you're wandering around aimlessly and you're not sure, or you're trying to be too left-brained about it. And it's funny because you can't be too left-brained, you can't be too right-brained. It's almost like you have to be in the middle. But you can't be too like, oh, this is not what society wants from me, or this would not make my parents happy, or you can't be too much about other people, and then you can't go in blindly either. Like, you have to sort of walk that line of, I intuitively know it's correct. I'm not going to make a crazy decision that's going to ruin my life, but yet I'm not going to try to please other people. And I often see that people, it was a big problem of mine too. I wanted to fit into societal standards. And if you're watching this, you probably don't fit into societal standards. So if you're still listening, you probably don't fit in quite. So, and that's okay. That's great. And we learned that it's our strength, but we also have to know, that life is going to, if we don't step into what we're supposed to step into, life is going to push us there. And it's much better when you step into it yourself. Number 6. So people are often, everybody talks about ADD and ADHD, and we have all this social media. We have a lot of things coming into our senses now, all at once. And, perhaps Geminis can handle that, but people like me, that's hard. That's hard. I need a focus. So I've noticed that people don't have a good focus, and you don't, with that focus comes work ethic. It comes, and battling entitlement, like people people see all these TikTokers making money and stuff, and they think, oh, I'll make a couple TikToks and I'll be famous and this and that. And you don't get something for nothing, at least, if you're not Kim Kardashian. You typically in life, there's the exceptions, but you don't get something for nothing. And social media has kind of, made people famous for really not doing anything. And that might not be in your life contract. Basically, it's not in most people's life contract. So you have to focus on something that you are passionate about, that you have skills in. I could say I'm going to be a basketball player, but I don't know how to play basketball. So, and I could watch basketball all day on TV, but that's not going to make me a basketball player. So I need to focus on something that, I know can get me from point A to point B. And, let's say tomorrow I really felt like it was in my life contract to go be a basketball player. Well, then I better start from sun up to sundown and, put the hours in and put that Saturn work in there, and make myself stand out from the rest. But I do find that people just think, because social media makes everything look so easy, that you're just going to be an overnight famous, person. And that just doesn't happen. The work has to be put into, whatever you decide to go into. And then you can make a name for yourself, whether it be teaching, whether it be, being a nurse practitioner, or, whatever you decide to do. If you have focus, then, and work ethic, that is what people are going to look to, and you'll thrive. When you focus on something, you have a specialized ability, and, maybe you're going to be a tarot reader. So you're focusing on tarot. You better focus in, you better decide what's going to make you different from everybody else. And then, you go 1,000% in it. If you focus on it, that's going to challenge yourself to make you thrive. Oh, and this is a big one too. This is number 7. Problem solving. So this is where people really lack how to, I don't know how to explain it. Let's see. So a problem comes up and you don't know what to do. So you're just like, I'm just going to ignore it. But problem solving is where, you work in your head how you're going to deal with something. And then, life is full of these problems. So you have to have really good problem solving skills to thrive, because if you're on a track, you're focused, you come across a problem, how you deal with that problem is going to be, that's going to make or break you. So, we get in our own way a lot of times because we just don't know what to do. So, problem solving is a big one. I see, even with my own children, I'm like, they come up with a problem. Oh, I can't do this. I'm like, wait a minute. How are you going to problem solve this? Because it's a problem, but you can't just ignore it. You can't sweep it under the rug. What are you going to do? So it seems simple, but it's really not. It's not a simple skill. Basically recognizing, another one too, I guess this would be number 8, recognizing and capitalizing on talents you already have. Don't reinvent the wheel. What are you good at? What are you passionate about? And that is most likely in your life contract, and you're going to thrive with that. Also, but at the same time, be realistic. Don't put your all your eggs in one basket. If you think, have a backup plan, but have a focus. And number 8. Oh yeah, properly manifesting in the quantum too. So going into that in-between world, and putting it into the quantum field and then letting it go. There are certain techniques. It's really not just the secret, where you just say it over and over again. Really, you have to kind of put it into the quantum, and then you have to sort of let it go, and let it come to you in a way that you're not expecting. You're going to say, I don't know how this is going to come to me, but this is going to come to me. I have to go into my meditation space. I have to put it out into the quantum, and somehow it's going to find me its own way. I can't control how it's going to find me. It's just going to find me. And I think lastly, how we stop ourselves from thriving too is who we surround ourselves with. Our surroundings are a big one. If we have people who are not vibrating at the same level as us, they're going to pull our vibration down, and that is going to stop us from thriving. And I know that, when it doesn't mean that you have to hate the person. It doesn't mean that, it just means that you're not on the same wavelength. That person's lessons are, here, and yours are here. So you may need to break that, because that person, whatever karma you had with that person is done, and you need to kind of move on from it. You have karma in other places that you need to tackle. So whether it be the relationship, a friendship, whatever that is, even family members, sometimes it just needs to kind of be cut out of your life, and you have to vibrate with people who are at your own level. And let me tell you, it is a whole different ball game when you're vibing with people on your own level. It really does raise you and, really make you thrive in life when you're around your common people, the people with the same visions as you. That it just makes all the difference. And I think that is all I have here.
Yep. I love this. And I love that Christina and I didn't go over all of this ahead of time. I just said sort of where are your basic points? So like, what points do you have? And she said like 6 or 8 or whatever. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to go with what spirit gives me. And the fact that none of these are going to hit and repeat is amazing. Okay. Perfect. But like at the same time, I'm kind of wishing I had thought of some of these, because these are so good. And we really could do a part 2 to this. I mean, these are so good and so spot on. I love how you said that when you focus on work ethic and you stick with it, and you focus on the task that you agreed to perform, that people will notice you for that. That sometimes that can be your level up. That can bring recognition or other opportunities and help you to thrive, because your character is being noticed. Your integrity is being revealed. You're not looking for that instant gratification. I love that you said that. I also really like that you brought up being in the company of others that are growing or have the same focus as you, that have the same kind of energy and vibe as you. I just did a reading about an hour ago with a very young, a teenage girl. And I was talking about this, like spirit just kept bringing it up, kind of pushing it, and her ancestors were pushing it, her guides were pushing it. And I was like, dang, I said, listen, little sister, had I known this, okay, I would have cut out 75% of the people I wasted my time hanging out with, because they siphon from you energy, voluntarily or involuntarily. I'm not saying they're all bad news and that they're doing it purposely, but when you have people growing at different rates and you're trying to keep a high vibration and focus on your evolution, and you're surrounded by people who are the polar opposite, negative, Nancy, slow grows, no grows, whatever the case is, that's bad news for you.
They bring you right down.
They bring you right down. All right. And so here's what spirit gave me. So now I'm going to go, and you guys, if you are tuning in late, welcome to Roots Revival Interfaith. We encourage you to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe. Donations are appreciated. Post your prayer and healing requests now, as well as your questions, comments, feedback, interaction, stories, whatever it is. We're going to be taking your questions here in just a minute. All right. So what Spirit was talking to me about, and these are sort of building in importance, up to number 5. Number 1, what stops us from thriving? Being self-centered, being unwilling to give. I think that some people are givers to an excessive amount, and they suffer greatly for that. I don't agree with that. I think that some people are hoarders and they won't give their kind words, their love and affection, their resources, their skill set, their money, their time, attention, whatever it is. They just won't give. They're hoarders. And I think we need to be somewhere right in the middle. And I think we need to pay very close attention to when spirit, the universe, our higher mind says, it's time for you to be of service. It's time for you to give something without strings attached, without reciprocity expected. It is an opportunity for you to volunteer, some of your positive energy to the universe for the best well-being of mankind or the environment, whatever it is, right? Energy itself, the collective, we are all one. But there are some people who absolutely refuse to do that. And I find that if they are that way in one area, they tend to be that way in pretty much all areas, so be careful that's not you and that you're not spending a lot of time with people like that. Pay it forward is a really common phrase for a reason. Okay. Pay it forward is your direct link to manifestation and law of attraction. And I think that even something simple like a kind word is something we've gotten to be very, very stingy with. I mean, if you've ever been out in public and someone you don't know gives you a compliment, the physical reaction, the weirdness, the awkward predicament that we are now in because someone showed kindness is so unfortunate. All right. So I don't care what it is. Give what you are called to give when you are called to give it. This will help you to thrive. Number 2, people are prevented from thriving when they are obsessed with other people, when they are gossipy, when they are controlling over other people, and or when they're stuck in the past. So I tend to find that these two go hand in hand. People that are super gossipy are obsessed with what everyone else is doing. They tend to be very shallow and they tend to be stuck in their past, almost like a stunted development or retardation in growth. They're not really evolving as individuals. And so they don't necessarily have a passion for their own life. Therefore, they focus on everyone else. And, I think there's a famous saying, and I don't know who said it. I think it comes up anonymous, actually, but it says something like, unintelligent people focus on everyone else and really intelligent people focus on ideas, right? If any of you know that quote, pop it up for us. But that's so true. All right. So it is definitely a stunting situation if you are so absorbed with what's happening with others in your life that it's not only, where you spend your time, but your thoughts and your conversation. Words are power too. Be mindful of that. All right. Number 3, having a greedy attitude of lack versus having an attitude of gratitude. And this goes hand in hand, I have found, with a refusal to alchemize. So I find that people who do one do the other. People who will not see the silver lining in a cloud, but they can point out 50 clouds every single day that are above your head, his head, her head, my head. It's like everybody's got, all these problems. That's what they do. Okay. Like on a tear, like they just can't seem to stop, but they never see anything positive. And sometimes even if something positive is brought to their attention, they'll negate it. They'll break it down. Well, these same people don't see and have an attitude of gratitude for the things that are going right. And they are also the same people who refuse to transmute, alchemize negative situations and predicaments, painful circumstances, growth opportunities in life, transforming them into something positive and useful and powerful for themselves and for others. Okay, so be mindful. That is also, I feel, connected to something Reverend Christina said earlier about not being able to self-soothe, or she said something, Christina, you said something about needing instant gratification, not focusing and staying in it for the long haul, right? That character development. I feel like these all go hand in hand. All right. And then here are the two biggest ones. Number 4, coming from a place of fear versus faith. If you take nothing else home with you after watching this, keep that one inside you. Every single time you have a decision to make, you need to stop first and you need to say, wait a minute, am I about to make this decision from a place of fear, manipulation, ego, control, something I'm trying to prevent? I'm worried about something going wrong or something that happened to someone else happening to me. This is all going to fall apart. This is too risky. I'm afraid. Or are you about to make the decision from a place of faith, positivity, manifestation? I trust the universe has my back. This is part of my life contract. This is part of my path. Therefore, it will work out. I don't need to manipulate and control every single step along the way. I just need to know this is a step I need to take. All right. It makes it very simple if you can do that. Not easy, but simple in the decision-making process itself. And number 5, the biggest thing I think is believing that you are the universe versus you are in partnership with the universe. So when we believe that we are God, when we believe that we are the universe, when we believe that we can control and dictate everything, including timing, we're going to suffer greatly, and it's going to stagnate your thriving. You are going to be in survival mode, and it is a 100% guarantee, because that's all ego. Healthy ego is appropriate. This amount of ego is a killer. And to understand that you are in partnership with the universe means that some things are destiny charted and they are fixed and they are going to happen, and some things involve your free will, and often both go hand in hand simultaneously. And so you're supposed to be working with spirit, your higher mind, others, the universe, the environment, animals, signs, symbols, dreams. Everything is here for us. But when we have decided that we are going to do it our own way from a place of ego, we've decided that we are ultimately God or the universe, and that's it. And we're going to fail. It is a guarantee, if not right away, soon enough. Okay. So remember that you're in partnership, and ask for the support you need, ask for the direction that you need, and then take it seriously and apply it as you go forward. All right. So that's what I have on this. Christina, did you have any feedback on that?
Yeah, even though I know this, it's like I always still try to control a little bit. And that's like part of my work that I have to learn, that I just have to trust and keep going. I'm learning, I'm getting there. I do see a lot of people who don't realize we're all connected. So, when you do something bad to someone, you're basically doing it to humanity. So, I do see that quite a bit. Also, yeah, like being stuck in the past. This is a huge one. We really need to be in the present moment, because you can't change the past. And yes, you can have a time of mourning for the past. You can feel bad about it for a little while, but if you stay there, you are going to be so stuck, and everything is just going to go right downhill. My mother was saying the other day, if I mentioned this before, but that she can't get over my divorce. And I'm like, really? Because the rest of us in the house are just fine. We're all moved on. So, you know what I mean? Like, you can't stay in the past. Like, that's not going to help anybody. Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. Gotta love when you are a living example of light, a beacon of how to live, and it's whoop,
And
right
I'm like,
over, right through. So
yeah.
I didn't see it. I didn't know any better. And you know what? We are really all held accountable. You're not fooling anyone. The universe knows. I was raised Catholic, so I was told God sees everything you do. Okay, even behind closed doors. And that's what this is. This is someone who wants to say, well, I didn't know any better. And it's like, that's funny, because Christina lived it right in front of you. You know what I mean? No. Yeah. I love it. All right. And you really do have to limit. I mean, on a more serious note, when you are surrounded by people who want to sort of bring things down. I try to avoid people who bring up, I don't know if I want to call it drama, but just toxic stuff all the time that they know is going to negatively affect me. It's almost like, they're waiting for an opportunity to bring up something that they think, is going to like rub me the wrong way. I'm like, instant red flag, whether it's a you problem, or a you problem. You're not going to make it a me problem. You know what I mean? And we have to just be careful.
And that becomes an issue, like when you're at a workplace and you have people surrounding you and stuff. So the empathic training and all that would probably be really good for people who, cord cutting, lots of stuff for that.
The mirror exercise, let them mirror their toxic energy back onto themselves.
Yes.
All right. Love it. Okay. We are going to, come on. We're going to get into questions and comments. So Mairead, our beautiful producer, will be popping these up here. What do we have first, Mairead? Also, if you guys haven't already done so, leave your prayer and healing requests in the comment section now, please. All right, Paula from Elicano says, hi, Ivy, how to know when you're leveling up and growing, but feeling some type of way where I'm in between my old and new self, but it does hurt to let go of things or people from the old. Okay, so how to know if you're leveling up and growing? I would say that we have to be patient with ourselves. We need to be realistic that things don't happen quick, the same way that building a really great company or a business, or getting your degree, it doesn't happen overnight. Neither does shedding and letting go. I would also say that you need to examine every time you're feeling negative about it. And you need to say, okay, is this just sort of residual energy that's dragging me down? Or is there actually a lesson there? Sometimes we haven't wrung everything out of a breakup or a boundary that we had to, set, a relationship change. There's still more we're supposed to learn. And other times it's just our bad habit. It's just the way that we think about things too much. And, I would say figure out how you can apply this to your life. It's always important if you're leaving things behind to know where you're going. Okay. And just to focus on that visualization even more. It helps to speed up the process. Christina?
Yeah, I want to say it does really hurt to let people go. But once you cut that tie, you make room for the new to come in. And the only thing that you can be 100% sure of in life is change. So, it's like, yeah, it sucks. There's really no way around it sucking. But at the same time, you have to, because you won't feel yourself growing. You'll feel yourself stagnating. So if somebody is, becomes toxic in your life, try to be grateful for the times you had that it wasn't toxic, and then, mourn it for a little while and then move on. But yeah, it does suck.
I love that you said that. There was something I had forgotten, and it was basically that it's okay to still feel good about the times that were good. It's okay to still feel love for that person. It's okay to still acknowledge, what was great about it, because we can't just lie and wipe all that out. And I think in trying to do that, it just cheapens it, and it doesn't allow us to alchemize in the way that we should. All right. We have another one from Paula. Also, what examples can you give for healthy, unhealthy ego? I would say that unhealthy ego, you can spot pretty easily in pretty much any situation. For example, where you're trying to make a decision, make a move, create a change, figure out what to say, whatever it is. And you notice that you've gone from a place of flowing and intuition, and you feel rooted and grounded in what it is that you're about to do, versus feeling obsessive and correcting and looking and digging for more information and checking and rechecking it. I mean, that's a sign that you're controlling too much, coming from a place of ego. I would also say that ego is pretty obvious when it's extremely self-centered. It cannot see the other person, the other side, the whole picture.
Yeah, I guess I would look at like the reason. You know what I mean? The reason behind what you're doing, whether it be ego-based or healthy, you know.
I like that 100%. Yeah. All right. And then we have another one from Christy Punk. Is my hoarding issue with my random sentimental to me objects and things halting me from thriving in the things I'm trying to achieve? Each time I get intense flashback memories, leaving me in tears. I would say that it is. And I would say that this is a great indication that you need to do some past life healing. I have found in the years of giving readings to people and just watching my own life and some habits involving hoarding and other things, and also doing Reiki with people, that this theme comes up repeatedly. And it is that when we tend to hoard something, it's because we have past life experience that we relived in this life that caused some kind of great lack or trauma. And in releasing that and honoring that and transmuting that into something positive, we clear those blocks out, and you can start thriving more. Yes.
Yeah, there's nothing like a good purge. I mean, it's just cleansing.
And it really is like the laws of feng shui too. I just noticed that when things start to get cluttered, or even if I have like clothing or like jewelry or shoes, I mean, whatever it is, right? I find that if it's connected to a period of my life that I don't want to remember, I got to just get rid of it. I have to. I don't care how much value. I mean, I don't care if you've got stuff that you're still paying off. You know, if you put it on the credit card, you realize you shouldn't have it anymore. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. All right. So we have one from Shauna Flint. I am not a fan of others saying when you shouldn't do things, that you can see the bigger picture, being the bigger person. They think it's wrong. I'd rather get along when needed. Like she's referring to an ex. Okay. Yeah, I think that it's important not to take people's advice. I don't listen to anybody. I mean, that's probably not great to do. I know it's gotten me in a jam several times, but I learned over the years to go directly to spirit and to go directly to my higher mind. And if my higher mind and spirit match, I don't listen to anything anybody has to say. And no one is ever going to receive a message from the universe about your life before you do. So as long as you're listening and tuned in, you don't need to be taking anybody's advice, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Getting along with an ex is very tricky. So you really have to follow your intuition on that, weigh all your consequences. Nobody can know what that's like except for you.
100%. All right. And I think, are we okay? So we are at time. All right. Wonderful. Christina, last word here. Or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. If I had one thing to say about today's sermon that Spirit gave us, I guess I would say the most important thing to help you with your thriving is to let go of junk. To let go of negative stinking thinking, to let go of negative Nelly attitudes toward other people, the world around you, your previous experiences, things that you fear, and to be really mindful throughout the day and in your dreams about anything that you see, you are feeling intensely, thinking intensely, or have urges toward that are not in alignment with where you really want to be, that are not in alignment with what's ultimately healthy and best for your prosperity, and to cut it quick. And if you don't have the tools, go get the tools. There's no excuse these days for people to not Google something or YouTube it or talk to a therapist or get a book or find the tools that you need. No excuses.
Yeah, I would say, have your focus, purge, and, think of other people, but not too much. You want to consider other people. You don't want to be so self-centered that you don't think of consequences and things like that. But at the same time, you have to follow your passion, follow the signs, you know, follow what inspires you, and, you know, and you'll start thriving.
I love that. All right, beautiful. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We will be praying and sending out healing over your prayer and healing requests. And even after this video goes to publishing, you can go ahead and post in the comment section. If you want to listen to old sermons, you can tune in wherever you can download a podcast, as well as here on YouTube at Ask Ivy. Christina, what is your YouTube channel?
Astrology Simplified.
Astrology, or at Astrology Simplified. Okay, and we will be back. The next Roots Revival service is Sunday, November 13th. Back here on all these platforms at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and we will be talking about dating. Super fun. Love it. Thank you, Mairead. Thank you, Spirit. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Okay, and thank you, Christina, so much for being here. Have a great week, everybody.